ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 64, verse number 26. So this is story of King Nirga, that he was a very great king, famous in the Ikshvaku race, and he was very charitable, and he, as he said himself, he gave so many cows in charity that you cannot count them. The number of dust particles, the raindrops, the number of stars in the sky, maybe you can count them, but not the cows which he donated. But still, he became a lizard because of one simple mistake which happened unknowingly. So this is a very strange story, and what is actually the purpose of having this story here? And suddenly this story comes. So the main purpose of this story is to compare this Karma Yoga with Bhakti Yoga. We also had a lot of discussion after the class yesterday about charity. So let's talk a little more about it, because this question comes many times. As devotees, should we give some charity to poor people or not? Is it good or is it not good? So about charity, there are a lot of Smriti Shastras available. There is one famous book written by Himadri. It is called Chaturvarga Chintamani. And I think it is in 4 volumes and thick ones. Each one probably having 1,000 pages. Just pure Sanskrit. Huge. And one of them is Dan Khanda. One part is just dealing with charity. Because there are various types of charity. Charity not only of wealth, but charity of food, charity of cloth, charity of umbrella, charity of shoes, charity of land, bhudan, godan, cows, vastradan, right? Paduka dan, jal dan, annadan, and vidya dan is also there. Giving charity of knowledge. Til dan is very famous, giving sesame seed. Remember then Nanda Maharaj also donated 7 hills of sesame seed. Also there is something called Tula Dan. Tula is a balance. That means you weigh the person equal to his weight in gems or gold and then donate it to him. Then Bhagavad Gita says that there are 3 types of charity, dan. Charity in sattva, charity in rajas, charity in tamas. So datavamiti yad danam diyate anupakarani deshe kale cha patra cha tad danam satvikam smritam. So that which is given without any feeling of upkar means you don't have any expectations. So this itself is very rare, that you give charity without having any expectation, zero, shunya. So it's very difficult, because whenever somebody gives some charity, there is always some expectation, whether it is explicit or implicit, but something is there behind it. And if that is the case, then it becomes rajasic, because it's a yattu pratyupkaratham phalamuddisya vapune diyate cha pariklistam tad danam rajasam smritam. That if you give with the intention of pratyupkar, that you will get something back, even some praise, doesn't matter. So that, or for some phala, that you want something, you want to go to heaven, etc., that is rajasic. And then there is a tamasic dana, desikale yad danam apatracha diyate. You give at a wrong time, wrong place to an unqualified person. Asatkritam avagyatam tad danam tamasam sritam. You give without respect, avagyatam, with an insult. Sometimes people do that also. Somebody comes and he's just behind you, like the pandas. If you go to certain temples, they don't leave you. So then you get so irritated that you give. So that is tamasic dana. Then there are certain things in which there is no consideration of time, place, and the person. For example, food. If somebody is hungry, then you are not going to think, well, this is not a right time to give charity. Because places are generally holy places, bank of river, Kurukshetra, Haridwar, Banaras, Dwarka, Vrindavan, Kashi, all these Prayagraj, timings, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, Amavasya, Purnima, Janmashtami, Ramnavami, etc. These are good occasions for giving charity. But when it comes to giving food to hungry people or giving cloth or water to a thirsty person, there is no consideration for these things. So they should, because everybody, deserves to get food to survive, and if you are in a capacity, then give it. Then the question comes about Vaishnavas, because all these considerations which are here are part of Karma Yoga. Basically, they are for Varnashram people. Generally, Grasthas who give charity. So as far as Vaishnavas are concerned, truly speaking, these things are not applicable to them. Because in true sense of the word, Vaishnava is one who is surrendered to Krishna. So everything already belongs to him. But if we have something or we are earning money, then we give it as service. So it's really not considered, although the word charity or dana may be used for it. But actually it is done with the intention to do the seva for his pleasure to Vaishnavas or to Bhagavan. So in third canto, I think maybe 30th chapter somewhere, there is a gradation who is most suitable for charity. And there it is described that the deity is the most suitable person, and next to that is the Vaishnavas, then Brahmanas. Among the Brahmanas are those who actually know the Shastra, who can explain, and those below that, Brahmanas who only recite mantras but don't know the meaning, and so on. List is being given there. So meaning is that ultimately everything belongs to him, to Supreme God, Bhagavan, and therefore everything should be given to him only. So as in first canto of Bhagavatam itself it says that labho jivete yavata kamasya na indriya priti labho jivete yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa narthayasya karmavi. That we should take only that much which is necessary for our sustenance, and rest is for service. And that also we take so that we can do service. So that is the mood of the devotee. So therefore there is no such thing that I am doing it because I want something from it. And if one is doing that, then that is not seva. If we are giving charity because I want, I can stay 3 days in the guest house. Some people have programmed like that, some organizations. And this is not charity at all. Just a dealing, You can call it, but it's not counted in that. And even if you count it, then it will come in Rajasic because it is Phalamuddisya Vapana. And Phala can be of two types. Phala can be Adrishta and Drishta. Means visible result, invisible result. So visible result is something which you maybe get praised. Some people put their name. Sometimes you go to temples and the whole wall is full of these, nameplates. So that is a visible benefit you are getting, right? Because everybody reads your name. Or sometimes they put it on the floor so that people walk over it and they think that they will get blessings of that. So this is drishtartha, or your name comes somewhere. Then there is adrishtartha, that it is not visible. And that adrishtartha can be laukik or parlaukik. It can come in this life, it can come in next life. So these are various things which can come from charity.
Babaji had this question. We see in Artha Sangraha that he will mention that Drishtaphala cannot come without understanding the Shastra. But for things like this...
No, that is related to Yajna.
Yajna specifically. Okay, so they are different things. Okay.
This is about Dana. So it's a different activity. In Yajna, if you make a mistake, you don't get the result at all. That's why you have to do Prashchitta. So this is something we have to keep in mind about charity. Now I see there are some hands raised. Let's start with Narayana.
Now, Guru Maharaj, thank you for the expanded explanation. I think my doubts on this are fully clarified. So, but my question is not, is just a quick clarification on what you just said. So, sometimes when we want to do seva to, say, our guru or to our institute, and sometimes say we want to do things like, we want to raise funds for whatever reason, for building, whatnot. Now, I used to do a lot of that in my past life, and what I realized is a lot of people were donating because they knew me and they had this goodwill and trust and whatnot. But they really never had any kind of seva bhav or anything. They were doing because they were my good buddies and we hung out together for a long time. So when I asked them to donate, say, $10,000, they would just do it. But I realized that the mood wasn't there. So my question is that, and ever since then I have just stopped because I don't believe it's right to force somebody into this. So, but predominantly in almost all Vaishnava Sampradayas, including Shri Sampradaya, they actually say that you should get other people to contribute to whatever seva, and that way they'll get credit. Now these people have no clue. So what does that count as? And they're, is that actually dhan or is that's not seva? But then what is it? Is it dhan or just dhan in the mode of?
Yeah, seva is for you because you are facilitating for it. So the devotee who is doing it, that knowingly that I am doing it for temple or for service of the Lord, so he is doing seva. But other people, they will get some charitable benefit if they are doing it with proper mood. Sometimes they may just do it because they are your friend and they feel pressured.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they do it. So that is just going to give them some, your goodwill. Not much is going to come from that. But if they believe in God and they have some, you see, when it comes to seva, then intention plays a big role in it. That's why he says that diyate anupakarane or pratyupkarartham. So this pratyupkarartham means with the intention to get something in return. This is only in the mind. It's not something that you write down or you make some explicit statement. But you are planning that, this person is influential. Like people also give donation to political parties. You know that. Like Elon Musk spent a lot of money on Trump. So that is also called donation, Right?
Yeah, different matter. He made 100x that back within 6 months. But still, yes. Yes.
So that is pratyupkarartham.
Yeah.
So they already plan it, that I'm going to get some benefit from this. Sometimes it may work because if the candidate doesn't win, then your money is gone,
Right.
So
that means...
So in such a thing, obviously there is no some adrishta created. There is no such benefit coming from that. It is only meant to get something here in this world,
Okay. And it's not anything like if we get those people into helping our institute and they serve the the institute and the guru and all indirectly. It's not like they're going to get some Agyata Sukurti and then eventually...
No, that's what I'm saying. It depends on their mood. If they are actually agreeing with you that yes, from their heart that I want to help, this is a good cause, then that they are going to get a good karma for that, which will lead them to devotion in future.
Okay.
Those are the type of things we hear all the time. All these stories that Ajamila chanted name, somebody did parikrama, somebody did this, somebody did that. This is what you may call as, it is not a sukriti, but we say it is an seva. You can call it sukriti, but it is devotional act, but done unknowingly or not really with mood of devotee or anything, but it happens. So if they do with that, then they will definitely get some benefit, not so much material benefit, but spiritual benefit. That is the real benefit. Otherwise, material benefit, that Bali became Bali. Why he became Bali? Because I think he offered something to Shiva deity. That's why he became so charitable. I forget the complete story, but that's his past story. So those are the stories which bring you. But because it happened to Shiva, then he is born in a devotee family, then he happens to meet. So that's how it works.
Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. That makes sense. And just to add one last point. So basically when we are doing, there are sometimes seva opportunities come out outside the institute too. For example, when I say institute, I mean particularly for anybody who is initiated, there is no scope, rather there is no need to look beyond what the Guru and the Guru's services are, because there is enough there already. But many times, on the Rashtra level, there is things that come up. Like for example, there is this Ram Mandir which was built, and a lot of pious Hindus, including myself and many others, they contributed whatever little they could. But those are done in the spirit of seva and NZ.
Yeah, so that is seva. That is definitely seva. Because you are not doing it that I am going to get some name and fame out of it or anything.
Right. No, it's just...
Yeah. So I think Bali's story is that, I don't know if he was drunk or something, but he happened to do some service to Lord Shiva unknowingly by mistake. And then when he died, he was taken to Yamaraj. And he was drunkard and not a good character. But Yamaraj said that you did one good act. For that you will become king of heaven for one day. And the rest of the time you have to go to hell for a long time. So which one do you want? Remember, Nirga was also asked. So he was smart. He said, make me the king of heaven for one day first, and then I will see the rest later on. So he was made the king of heaven for one day, and what he did that he started giving everything in charity, including Indra's throne and whatever was there. He said, I'm there, I just give charity. So that's why he became Bali in next life, because he was giving so much charity. And then he took over Indra's kingdom, threw away Indra as Bali, So that's gambler. Yeah, he was.
Lost everything.
Yeah, some story on that.
Thank you.
Okay, Purushottam Prabhu.
Nowadays there is this, recently basically people are also donating their limbs, particularly when they die, they write down in their wills that whatever limbs I have.
So this is a new.
Is also considered dana, or what is it?
Yeah, this is a new type of charity now. It has to be added in the Smriti. Okay.
Still considered dana then, there is no.
Yeah.
And there is no pratyupkar for that because you are living the last day.
Well, that I cannot say because I went to hospital and I went to see the doctor. So there he had a big. Did you read that, Jessica? He had a big like a.
Plaque?
Yeah, plaque written where he says that when I die I will donate or my limbs will be donated. something was written there. So he's keeping it there, and everybody who reads says, oh, he's great. And obviously, why is he putting it there? He can write it in his will and okay, that's enough, But he wants to let it be known to everybody. So something he is getting from it. I may be wrong, but that's what I thought. Okay, Bhushan.
Babaji, perhaps I have this question on this Varnashrama charity, this Mahabharata story of this mongoose with golden hands seems to be mocking Yudhishthira and his Rajasriya Yajna. That charity made by Yudhishthira, who is Dharmaraj, his Rajasriya Yajna, to so many Brahmanas, Narad people like Narad Muni, Vedavyas, is inferior to the charity which he saw of some guy who was on the verge of death giving some water to some random person. How is this possible? I never could understand the story about that mongoose with the golden hair mocking, it seems, Yudhishthira Maharaj for his charity.
Yeah, because it is, you have to see that the person who gave that water, he himself was starving to death, and then somebody came, so in that situation, he gave him water to drink. And when he gave him water to drink, some fell on the ground, and the mongoose went, and when he touched that ground, that body became golden. But there was only little, so the other part remained not golden. So then he was always going, whenever somebody is doing charity, to see if I go and roll there in the ground, my other side can also turn into golden. So it did not happen. In Yudhishthira Maharaj Yajna was done, Rajasuya, then there was Abhrit Snan, where he is given the bath with the sacred water from the Yajna. So he came and he was rolling in that mud and nothing happened to him. So he felt very dejected and left. And that's when Krishna asked, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Krishna that, what was he doing? So he told him the story and he said that your yajna is not worth what this Brahmana gave. So because Yudhishthira Maharaj's life is not in danger, he is sitting and doing charity. But imagine, just think like that you are very hungry and you only have that much food to eat and suddenly one guest comes. Or even your friend comes and he says, is there anything to eat? So you'll think, why is he coming now? He should have come 10 minutes late, So you have to visualize the situation, then you'll understand that why it is so important. So important because it was crucial for his own life and also the life of the person to whom he gave. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is not giving to any people like that. People are happy, they are coming, eating, going,
Babaji, if I may ask a follow-up, then does it mean, wouldn't, my question is that he gave up his life for saving somebody else, so isn't that like tamasic? He committed suicide.
He did not give up life. No, he did not give up his life. He gave up the water.
But he hurt himself in that process, right?
Now you are always thinking in tamasic way. He gave it happily. He was not pressured by anything. But he felt so much compassion, like Rantidev, So story of Rantidev is there, Bhagwan appeared there. Okay, Gustavo.
Pranam Babaji. So my question is, when there's beggars that that they're probably going to spend the money that you give them on alcohol or drugs or something like that, and they don't look hungry, and but do you get so that you just give it away? You're not sure what they're going to spend it on.
No, if you know that they are going to buy liquor, or they are going to engage in some wrong act, then you become implicated in that if you know it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think that they are going to use it for their food or shelter, then give it, but don't give it as devotees, but don't give it in the sense that he is poor, that's why I'm giving. Think that I'm doing service to God, God is present in him also. So that should be the mood of devotee. That is the proper way to think. Otherwise you will become proud, I'm superior, he is inferior, I'm doing this to him, why is this? All these thoughts come. Okay.
Guru Maharaj, can I just ask one question? It is from my mother actually. And basically, a few years back, my mother went to the ISKCON temple. And, she gave her phone number. And this was about 5 or 6 years back. Now what is happening is every week they send her a text message saying, Annadaam karo, go seva, there is this big Ekadashi, please donate 1,000, 1 lakh, whatever, some amount, for all kinds of sevas. I mean, it has gotten to a degree where there is a widespread bombardment from ISKCON to all devotees. Whoever goes and visits the temple, invariably they end up getting at least 30 to 40 text messages every 4 months. So what she is asking is this: in our Vaishnava tradition, is it natural for? I mean, I'm sorry to ask it in a very crude way, but he asked me in that way, so I'm asking in the same way. She wants to know, is our culture about going and always asking कि मुझे ये पैसा दो, वो पैसा दो, मुझे ये सेवा करना है, वो सेवा करना है? Is this really in our DNA? And I've tried to answer her that it's not so, but she says that the entire evidence is to the contrary, that you guys always keep coming and asking. And I told her that's obviously not the case, but I mean, by the way, she's not alone, right? I mean, there is a lot of people, both in North and South India, if you ask, they'll say the exact same thing. Anybody who has been to ISKCON constantly gets bombarded. And we don't know whether it's really, now that people are thinking, is this the mood of Vaishnavism, that you keep going and asking for seva? Then she asks, why do you take on those seva opportunities in the first place? Why don't they just focus on what they're doing, simple things. So that's my question.
Yeah, so that is not actually the mood of Vaishnava. Vaishnava is not a beggar. Not all the time begging. Even if it is begging for God, but that's not a Vaishnava's mood. It's written in the 2nd canto, maybe 3rd chapter, 4th chapter. Kadam bhajanti kavyo dham durmadam dham. Sukadeva Goswami is saying this, that why Kavi, is using the word Kavi, but you can think of a Vaishnava. Why they have to go and flatter people who are proud of their wealth? And before that he is saying that Tarva kimna khadanti, Bhastra kimna swasanti uta, mehanti grame pasva pare. Are the trees not breathing, eating and all that? So he is saying that don't you have your hand to sleep on, that you need a pillow? Are there not rivers where you can go and drink water? Are there not caves in the mountain where you can live? So basically he is saying that a person who is devoted to God, he is not dependent on other. He should not be. He depends on God. Actually, this type of begging ultimately brings bad name to God himself.
Exactly.
And then when we have Saranagati, so there are 6 limbs of Saranagati: Anukulyasya, Sankarpa, Pratikulyasya, Varjanam, Rakshashyati iti Vishwaso, Goptritva Varnam Tatha. Right? And then one of them is Akarpanyam. Akarpanyam means not having this kind of feeling that I am, worthless, I don't have money, I need to help from others. So devotee does not have like that. This kind of danya. Humility is different thing, but this type of that you are all the time begging to others, this is not the mood of Vaishnava. Because we are servant of person who is owning everything. We are his representative, we are his servants. Just like you have your son and you are supplying all needs to him, and now your son goes to your neighbor and asks for some 10 rupees. So how will you feel? So therefore this is not really some Vaishnava culture.
Thank you.
Januki.
Hi, Babaji. You just said that Karpanyam was not part of Shranagati, and that confused me because I always thought of it as one of the 6 aspects of Shranagati.
You want what?
I understood that Karpanyam was one of the 6 aspects of Shranagati.
Yeah, so there Karpanya has 2 meanings, because there is a reading, whether you can read it as Karpanya or you can also read it as Akarpanya. So if you read it as Karpanya, then Karpanya to Bhagavan, that we are obviously surrendered and humble to in front of him. And if you read it as Akarpanya, because both ways explanations are given, then we are not like lowly in front of others in that sense, that we always want money from others.
Got it. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. So what is the question now? Donation, asking donation, what asking donation? This is not, I'm telling you, this is not a Vaishnava culture. You don't read anywhere in Chaitanya Charitamrita and the life story for acharyas. They were not going around begging for money, although they built temples and they did so many things, but they were not begging money to anybody. People came and helped, that is different. And you don't see this anywhere in any great acharya's life stories or great Vaishnavas. Yes.
If begging is not part of the Vaishnava culture, why we
Begging only
hear?
food for their subsistence, and this is only for the Vairagis. Those who are renounced means they have given up their family life. It's like sannyasi, what we call renounced Vaishnava. They are sannyasis. So sannyasi is na niragnir na chakriya. He is niragni. He doesn't cook because he is left home. So then he is allowed to beg for food. That's all. But not going and give me money, give me this, I need this, I need that. That is not Vaishnava. So therefore you read stories opposite of that. Like Pandit Baba, So some king of Gwalior came and he came with some big donation. And he says, I want to give it to you. And he says, no, I don't give it to me. Then he forcibly left, he threw it away. He says, no, I don't need, why are you giving me? So my Guru Maharaj told me that when he was young, at that time, in those days, kings used to come here. This is still before India became independent. There were kings. And they will have anukshetras. Means they will distribute food. So mostly sadhus would not go for that. Then they wanted to give money, monthly money, like 2 rupees per month to have it. No sadhu wanted to have it. So they will beg, please take, and they, no, we don't want. They will do madhukari. So madhukari also not that you get all your need only from one house. Take little from here, little from there. That's why it is called Madhukari. Madhukara is honeybee. So like honeybee collects honey from many flowers. Like that they take food, little food, and that's it. Okay, Srishti.
Dandavat Pranam Babaji. It is for the sake of the self that everyone is loved, is what we apply for the general masses, including myself. But what is it about sadhus, like you said, and the family that donated its meals, their meal, that
Donated what?
their meal in the comparison that was presented by Krishna to Yudhishthira, the family who made the squirrel turn golden, the half of the squirrel turn golden. So what is it about the devotees that breaks this basic tenet? Or is this tenet open to another interpretation? And
I'm not clear what is. I am not clear what you are asking. I don't know if anybody understands. I'm not sure what is your question.
Atmanastu kamaivo sarvam priyam bhavati. So
Yeah.
it is for the sake of the self that everyone and everything is loved.
Yeah.
So if that is the basic tenet that underlies the way the world runs, what is it, like you presented two stories now, one about the sadhus who didn't accept the money given by the Britishers or the charity given by the Britishers that would make their lives better. And second example you gave before that was of the family that donated its own meal. And I'm assuming that this family they were devotees of Krishna.
Yeah, so
what
self,
is it about
so
each
self is not
devotee?
just yourself. Self is also means Paramatma.
Okay, then it makes sense.
Atma also means
Because
Paramatma.
generally,
So that's the
thank
meaning.
God, because generally we have this, because once we start focusing on the dual aspect, we draw a clear line of distinction between Jivatma and Paramatma. So we often tend to interpret this as the Jivatma wanting happiness for the sake of its own happiness, not for any
No, that is
other
not the
reason.
meaning. You see, this verse means Atma, first of all, in your own body. You love your body because there is Atma in it. But then Atma also is loved because it has Paramatma in it. That is the ultimate meaning of it. Because the whole statement says Atma vare drashtavya, shrotavya, mantavya, nididhyasitavya. That Atma is to be realized, but which Atma? Is not talking about the individual Atma, but the Paramatma, God realization. That is what it means. Atatvat matritvat Atma hi parmo hari. Atma means Hari because it is made of two words, At and Ma. At means it is all pervading, and Ma means that it supports everyone. Matritvat. So that is Atma. Okay, let's read now. Let's release Nriga and let him go to heaven. So Satvam Katham Mam Vibhokshi Patha Paratma Yogeshwarai Shruti Dishamalat Hridi Vibhavyah Sakshadadhoksha Juru Vyasnandha Buddhe Syanme Anudrishya Hi Yasya Bhavapavargaha. So this is Nriga speaking to Sri Krishna. So earlier he said that you are Brahmanya, you are Vadanya and so on. So he says, you are so great, you are Bhagwan and so on. How is that you have become visible to me? Satvam Katham Mama Vibho Akshipataha Paratma. You are the Supreme Atma. And Yogeshwarai Shruti Drisham Amal Hridi Vibhavya. You are the one who is perceived by those people who have pure heart and who have studied the Shrutis, the Vedas, who are advanced in yoga like Sanat Kumars, etc. You are Sakshat Adhokshaja, you are the Supreme Gods yourself. So how is that you have become visible to me, who is Uru Vyasna Andha Buddhe, who is blinded by material conditioning? So how is that I cannot understand that you have appeared in front of me? And Yasya Bhavap Varga, that if you are seen by somebody, then that person becomes free from bondage. So he is expressing his surprise that how that he is able to see him. Smritir mama iti shesha sakshat tatha anuktir vinayadina adya kaklas dehe tatha mahabhimani deva dehe api tadvirodhini na dhvashta na nashta. So this is actually part of the previous sloka I normally put. So he says, Satvam saeva tvam mama sakatham akshapatho abhur. He says, how is that you who are like this have appeared in front of my eyes? Yakhalu yogeshwarai sankadyairapi sruti drishtya nirmale hridi vibhavyo dheya. You who are only meditated in the pure heart, which has been purified by the study of the Shrutis, by great yogis or Yogeshwaras like Sanak Kumaras, and you are standing in front of me. This is very amazing. Shaktasur Bhanjana Swam Bhagavan Eva Tatrapi Uruveshananda Buddhe Madvidhasya Adhamasya Api. And he is calling him as Adhokshaja, Sakshad Adhokshaja. So Adhokshaja is a name which Krishna got when he broke the cart by kicking. When he was hanging below the cart and he broke that. So that's when he got the name Adhokshaja. Because Aksha is the axle. Like in English you have the word axle of the car, etc. So the cart also had its Aksha or axle. And he was under it. Adha. Adha means below. And he kicked it. And everything fell around and this Asura died. But he survived. So they said, as if he is born again under this cart's axle. Adho Akshay eva jata iti Adhokshaja. That's why he got the name Adhokshaja. So that's why he's saying Saktashur Bhanjana Swam Bhagwan eva. You are Swam Bhagwan. And you have become manifest in front of me. Who am I in comparison to these Yogeshwaras? Uru Vashan Andha Buddher Madvidhasya. I am blinded by Maya. Kincha Yasya Janasya Bhavapavarga Sansar Naso Bhavet Tasyapi me mam kim bhavan drishya syat apitu na syadev. So he says even the person who is about to attain moksha, even to such a person you may not become present to his eyes. So even if you say, well, it is time for you to attain moksha, so that's why I have appeared. He says, still there is no need for you to become present to my eyes. Apitu na syadeva. Kintu Mahabhagavatasya kaschid ashirvadadeva syaditi bhava. So the meaning he is saying is that it is only because of the blessing of some great devotee on me. Because earlier he also said that I must have done some charity to some Vaishnavas. So this is answering Narayana's question where he said that these people do some charity. You may be the medium. So if they do it, then this will give them some bhakti credit. And they may take to devotion in future life. And it depends, of course, on the potency of the person to whom the charity is being given. So now he recites his name. He is doing some Nam Kirtan. Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Pranamo Dukkha Samnastam Namamim Harim Param. So Nam Sankirtan is very important. So he says Deva Deva Jagannatha Govinda Purushottama Narayana Hrishikesha Punya Shloka Chitavyayah Anujani himam Krishna yantam devagatim prabho yatrukapi satascheto bhuyan me tvat padaspadam. So first he just invokes his various names. He says, you are Deva Deva, you are worshipable of the Devas. You are Lord of the universe, Jagannath. You are Govinda, protector of the cows. You are Purushottama. So, Pratitosmi, Loke Vedecha Pratitosmi Purushottama. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I think which chapter is that, 13th? That I am known as Purushottama in the Loka and Veda. You are Narayana, 15th. So you are Narayana. So you are the source of all the elements. You are Rishikesh, the master of the senses, and Punya Shloka. You have your Kirti spread all around. You are Achyuta, you are infallible, and you are imperishable. Therefore, O Lord Krishna, permit me and bless me that now I am going to Devagati, because he already got a divine form, so he will go to Swarga. Yatra kwapi satascheto bhuyan me tvat padaspadam. And please bless me that wherever I may go, my mind may remain fixed on your lotus feet. This is the blessing I ask for. So Sahasa Utpannaya Shraddhaya Bhagavad Kripaya Labdha Dasyo Namani Eva Anukirtyan Anugyam Prarthayate Deva Deveti. So now suddenly, by Krishna's grace, he has attained Shraddha in Krishna, in Bhakti. So the problem, why he faced this problem of the Brahmana taking the cow, because he was giving more value to charity than to Bhakti. He knew about Bhakti, yet he considered these charitable acts as more important to Bhakti. So in a way, he disregarded Bhakti, and that's why Bhakti did not protect him from this small mistake. If he would have been a devotee, like Ambarish or Prahlad or any one of the other kings, and this mistake happened, he would not become a lizard. It won't happen like that, because he will not even go to Yamaraj. Yamaraj does not have the purview over them. So this story is to tell this, the importance of bhakti, in contrast to karma yoga, that he did so much charity and little mistake, and the charities could not protect him. So that's the difference. So that's why he says that Sahasotpannaya Shraddha. That means before he did not have Shraddha. If he had Shraddha, it would not have happened like that. So now he is getting Shraddha and he is getting Dasya Bhav. So therefore he speaks like that. So therefore he is doing Nam Kirtan. Deva Deva iti Devanam api Devo api. You are the worshipable even of the Devas. Tvam Jagtam api Natha. You are the Lord of the universe. Nathatvat man Natho Bhava. And therefore you are also my Natha, because I am part of the Jagat, of the world. Govinda Gavam Kripa Drishtya Mam Bindasve. You are Govinda. You are very grateful to the cows, and I gave a lot of cows in charity, so please help me also now. You like cows. Atra Hetu Purusheshu Vishnuvadi Suapi Uttama. And you are Purushottama, means among the Purushas, like Karno Dakshai, Shiro Dakshai, Garbho Dakshai, you are best among them. Narayana, you are Narayana, Nara Jiva, Anam Adhishtanam Yasya. So he is translating the Nara as Jivas, and Ayana means the resting place. So your Jivas are your resting place, means you are inside them. So, or you are the resting place for the Jivas, both ways can be applied. So therefore you are also Mam Durjivam api Adhitishta. So therefore please be situated in me also. I am also Jiva. Rishikesha Madindriyani Atmasat Kuru. So you are the Lord of the senses, so please engage my senses also in your service. So he is basically commenting on each name as if he is reciting this name with the intention to get some specific blessing from Krishna. Punya shloka tavesha nirgmochni kirti raghudev. And your Punya shloka means your fame is spread all over, and now you are going to get one more fame, that you are a Nriga Mochaka. You are the liberator of Nriga. So you will have this kirti also. Achyuta madanta karanad vichyuto ma bhava. You are Achyuta. Achyuta means who never falls down. So he says, don't fall down from my heart. Don't slip away from there. Remain sticking. Avyaya atrana te koapi apchayati dhvanaya. And you are Avyaya, which means which is never perished, which never diminishes. So he says, if you stay in my heart, nothing will happen to you. Don't worry. You will remain Avyaya only. Tvat padameva aspadam vishyo yasya tatha bhutam maccheto bhuyat. So let your feet be my shelter. In other words, my mind should be always fixed on them and not on anything else. So namaste sarvabhavaya brahmane ananta shaktaye krishnaya vasudevaya yoganam pataye namaha. My obeisances to you, who is the cause of all causes, who is Brahman, who is having unlimited potency, who is Krishna, who is Vasudev, and who is the master of all the yogas. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti says, Mam tvai dasya bhave vastu tvam tu sarva bhava vishay bhuta eva sityaha. So he is taking the word bhava in the sense like dasya bhava, vatsalya bhava, sakhya bhava. So he says, you have all bhavas, but I take only dasya bhava. So I bow down to you. Namaiti. Sarvepi bhava yasmin tasmai. So sarva bhava means that you have all bhavas, dasya bhava, sakhya bhava, vatsalya bhava, madhurya bhava. And now he is going to apply all these bhavas to the various names. So tatra shanta bhavasya vishalambanam aha brahmane. So first name he takes is the Brahman, and Brahman applies to shanta bhav, because those who are jnanis, they meditate on Brahman, they have shanta bhav. And Murta Brahma Swarupaya, you are the Brahman personified. And Dasya Bhava Maha Anant Sakte Maha Aishwarya, you have unlimited power, Mahashwarya, so that indicates Dasya Bhava. And Sakhya Bhavasya hai Krishna, you are Krishna, so Krishnasya Arjunasya Namrup Gunadevi Samya Deva Sadanandatreva Krishir Bhuvachka Shabdas Nascha Nivritti Vachkete Smrite. So you are Krishna means your friend, you are attractive, like your friend of Arjuna. So Nam Samyad, he also is known as Krishna. Then Vatsalya Bhava Vasudevaya. So you are son of Vasudev, so that is indicative of Vatsalya Bhava. Then Ujjwal Bhava, Madhurya Bhava, Yoga Nam, Bhakti Yoga Nam, Mai Nam, Sri Rukmani Adi Nam. Etya Bharta, he is called Pati here. Pati also means husband. That is indicative of Madhurya Bhava. So all these names are indicative of these bhavas. Ityuktva tam parikramya padau sprishtva svamaulina anugyato vimanagrayam aruhat pashyatam nirnam. So after saying this, he did parikrama of Krishna. Then he fell at his feet and touched them with his head. Taking permission from him, he alighted onto a plane. And then, while everyone was looking, he took his flight. So, space travel. Swanugyatah bhogante mam prapsasi iti adishta. So I took permission from Krishna, which is indicative that after your heavenly time is over, then you will see me again, you will come to me. Krishnam parijanam praha bhagavan devaki sutah brahmanya devo dharmatma rajanyan anushikshyan. When all these people left, then Krishna spoke to all his family members and he taught them the importance of respect to the Brahmanas, because he wanted to teach to the Kshatriyas that they should not be disrespectful to the Brahmanas. Durjaram bat brahmaswam bhakta agner managapi tejiyo soapi kimuta ragyam ishwar maninam. So he says that never take away the wealth of a Brahmana, because if you take away the wealth of the Brahmana, you will not be able to digest it, you will be burnt. He says you can digest fire but not the wealth of a Brahmana. Agni managapi. He says even fire cannot digest it. So no matter how powerful you are, even if you think you are Ishvara, don't snatch away the wealth of Brahmana. So this is most sinful act. So brahmaswam managapi ishadapi choryadina bhuktam sat agni shakashadapi yastejiyam tapoyogadi yukta. Says don't take his wealth by stealing or snatching away or by any of these means. He says even if you are more powerful than fire, still you will not be able to digest it. You will suffer from that. So he will continue to speak in the upcoming verses about the importance of respecting Brahmana and not taking away their wealth. We'll do that tomorrow.
Could you please explain why King Nriga asked Krishna to go to the, what was it said, Devagati? To go to Svarga?
No, he didn't ask it.
No?
He was already told by Yamaraj. Remember? He says you have done a lot of charity but you made one mistake. So for that one mistake you have to suffer, and for rest you will go to heaven. He said you will go to heaven for a long time. He may still be there.
Okay, and after that is over, then he will go to Krishna.
And then he will be liberated.
Okay. So this means that Krishna, he could have liberated him from that, but he didn't.
No. Okay.